So you've just had this beautiful baby, but you just can't shake this feeling of sadness and depression.
And it's okay. There is help for postpartum depression for you and your family.
And this is Chick2Chick. All right, we were just talking about moms and they have a baby and you've got this beautiful bundle of joy. And a lot of women feel like this mild sadness. There's a mild sadness associated with it, which sounds kind of crazy because you've just had this beautiful baby. And that is characterized more as the baby blues.
Right.
But about 10 to 20% of women get into this severe depression. And that is more characterized as postpartum depression, and you and I have talked about this openly. I feel like I suffered from that. There were so many things going on. I just had this beautiful baby and I should have been overwhelmed, but I was overwhelmed, not with just joy, but all these other things. We were trying to sell our house. We were trying to build a new house. I was trying to pack stuff up. I'm not proud to tell you, but I had Sean in the back seat and I was going over the bridge and I thought to myself, I could drive off this bridge right now. I really contemplated driving off the bridge and taking my life and taking my baby's life because I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. And when I got home, a woman came to the door because, as I said, we were selling the house and I was sobbing. And she said to me, "What's wrong with you?" And I went over the whole thing and she looked at me and she said, "Flora, this too shall pass." She said, "I know you're feeling all of these things right now, but I promise you, in 5 years from now, this is all going to be in your past and this too shall pass." And she saved me.
Yeah.
She saved me. I am not proud to admit that, but I got to be honest.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of pride. And I think that it happens. And that's one thing that we need to address is that it happens and women, you can get help. And today we have a very special guest with us. His name is Stephen Achille. Sorry, Stephen. But you are the president and founder of Alexis Joy Foundation. We're so happy to have you here today. Can you provide us with some insight on what this foundation is all about?
So thanks for having me. The foundation was started in 2013, almost immediately. Well, actually, it was started while my wife was in intensive care before she passed. My wife, unfortunately, lost her battle with postpartum depression, and we'll get into more of it later, but it's kind of a generic term for perinatal mental health issues, so it's confusing to a lot of people because a lot of people say, hey, I'm not depressed, I'm anxious, I have rage, I have all these other emotions. So it's important that people understand that these feelings are all part of what is generically known as postpartum depression. But unfortunately, like I said, my wife lost her battle. And while she was in intensive care for 2.5 days before she passed, it's like so many good things. You don't realize what you need until you need it, and it's not there. And so while we were in the hospital, it was kind of, I'll say, like an epiphany. And I'm thinking it's 2013 in the greatest country in the world. And how is there no care for a new mom that's struggling? This is crazy. And not just a mom that's struggling, but a mom that, unlike most women, did not suffer in silence. She was brutally honest and desperately seeking help. And we had gone to 7 different hospitals, crisis centers in her last 13 days. And she was turned away by each and every one of them.
How old was the baby? When
5.5 weeks.
So you had this epiphany, you say, and you're realizing this is ridiculous. How do we not have this type of healthcare? You're a man, you're a dude, right? And I know you loved your wife, but for you to take that information and to create what you have now is incredible. And thank you. So tell us, what was your wife not getting that now the foundation is able to help women get?
With health insurance companies and health systems, the way moms are treated, in this country, the only way for a woman to get help is to be separated from her child. And a mom already thinks she's a bad mom. And there's, the root of all of it, is a lack of bonding between mother and baby. And so that's the core of the program we offer is techniques, mother, baby, infant massage, group therapy, all kinds of different things to help mom bond with baby on her terms, and to give her the confidence. But how do you get help for mom? How's their reimbursement rates for a baby to be there when the baby's not sick, just the mom is? And it's expensive to have a baby that's not sick, in treatment with mom. And so there were all these, issues. I shouldn't say issues, but problems that have historically been huge problems in healthcare that we've been able to conquer with our program. The last appointment we ever went to, it was, we were in a room that locked from the outside on both ends, and it was glass, and we were in one of the 3 inpatient facilities in Pittsburgh, and we're speaking to a psych doctor in the ER, and I'm saying, they refused to admit her. And I said, well, what do I do to keep her safe? And he said, well, there's only 2 ways women like her can do this. And that's through asphyxiation, with a vehicle in the garage, or overdosing on pills, because women like her would never want to not be remembered looking their best, and never, and it was
oh my goodness. Oh.
And it's like, so I look back and I say, how the hell could I listen to this advice? But you're in this period in time where you're so exhausted and you're so worried and you're just looking to doctors.
So you've named the foundation after your wife, the Alexis Joy Foundation. What resources do you offer women, new moms who are struggling, and the family as well?
So the biggest thing, and you hit the nail on the head, is family. We do not look at maternal mental health issues, postpartum depression, or perinatal mental health issues as a women's health issue. And it's so strange to me that I'm like one of the only male advocates in the country speaking about this, because like when mom's sick, the whole family suffers.
Yes.
Children suffer, obviously partners suffer, everyone that loves mom suffers. And to be honest, the children are the ones that really pay the biggest price for it. And there's so many developmental behavioral delays that children that grow up in homes with mothers that have undiagnosed or never got the treatment they deserve for postpartum depression. So we really look from day one with the program at treating it as a family health issue and encouraging not just mom, but dad to be there for treatment with her. Sometimes it's dad's overwhelmed and just needs somebody else to talk to, and the doctors there's been so much evolution with the program from the doctors, looking and saying, hey, these children are suffering. We need to do something for the children. And we've branched off, and there's, the health system's amazing, and the doctors are so forward thinking. They're so far ahead of anything that's happening anywhere else in the country. Where we have a center where children are getting therapy, which takes a huge load off the parents. And then there's also a program that the Alexis Joy Foundation is funding called the Partner Project, where we're actually, they noticed that the fathers were struggling. And sometimes even if the father's not struggling with a mental health issue, they have a lot of questions saying, how can I be the most supportive partner I can be? How can I better advocate for my wife? And also for my children. So they have the ability to get private time with the doctors to discuss their problems as well. They give the women practical skills that they can use for the rest of their life. They practice yoga, meditation, big emphasis on mother-baby bond. Infant massage is a really big thing. They do, I believe, art therapy is the favorite amongst all the patients. Really try to go out of our way. A lot of the women, women that live below the poverty line, almost 50% of them struggle with these problems. Mm-hmm. And it's important. In your intro, you were saying, what's the difference between the baby blues and postpartum depression? Well, if you have the baby blues for longer than 2 weeks, it's postpartum depression. And that's important for people that love mom to understand. If your loved one's been struggling, it might, for longer than 2 weeks, it might be time to ask them and check on mom and let them know that there is help out there. And so there's group therapy, there's one-on-one therapy. It's an intensive outpatient program. I believe it's 3 hours a day with 2 different sessions, one in the day, one at night. I'm a food guy, I have a restaurant. There's a chef's kitchen there where they can do chef's demos to teach women and families how to eat healthy. And you can eat for your mental health. There are things, you put garbage in, you get garbage out.
That's
so
right.
It's like, And we partnered through the program with the food bank. And so when they do the chef's demos, everyone in the program leaves with all the ingredients to make that meal at home. And that's something for dads, which I'm passionate about, because I believe that dads can do more. I don't think it's fair, the workload that's put on women. That is, mothers in motherhood, that, more is expected from moms and fathers. And I know that because I have to play both roles. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's because I think dads are doing more than ever, but I think, sometimes someone needs to make us read the instructions. And so there's,
you're basically saying that you're dealing with all aspects of life to help these women and their families. You mentioned something, Stephen, about the child, and I want to know, how is your baby doing now?
Oh, she's amazing. She's amazing. She's 10. She's in 5th grade. She's like obsessed with dance. She's very opinionated and strong-headed. So like whatever she does, she's either all in or she's all out. And so right now, the last couple of years, it's been dance, and she loves it. She flips around the house and is all day long. So she's wonderful. She's a perfectly, healthy, from the outside looking in, she's got the dream life, except, if you didn't know her, but if you do, it's like she's missing the most important part of childhood.
Her mom.
Quickly, if folks want to learn more about the foundation, where can they find information?
They can go to www.alexisjoyfoundation.org. And there's I'm proud of it. We did, the Today Show did an amazing piece on us. So if you go to YouTube and just type in the foundation or my name, there's a really amazing video. I think it's like 8 minutes long that lets you meet moms that we've helped and families that we've helped, and to see the facility and what we're actually doing.
Sounds great.
And if you were struggling, I would recommend that moms would take that information to their health system, wherever they may be in the country, and say, why do moms in Pittsburgh have access to this, but we don't?
Yeah, very
That's
good.
a great point.
Yeah.
Again, we are so sorry for your loss, but we're so grateful that you came on the podcast to share your story, and more importantly, that you're providing this great resource for women who are dealing with postpartum. So thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
Sure. And there's a great link, www.postpartum.net. That is a free resource for everyone as well. And they're in all 50 states.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I mean, I think I lost my breath a couple times as he was talking about everything.
It's a real problem.
It is.
It's not just in our heads. No. It is a real problem.
And it's a whole family problem. And God bless him for being the man who really stepped in and did what he did. That's not always possible with some. And so, what an incredible organization.
It's great. So for new moms, any woman out there struggling with this, please know that there is help available and there are resources out there. You don't need to struggle with this on your own.
You don't. And we appreciate you being with us today. Do us a favor and head over to Chick2Chick USA's YouTube channel, like and subscribe. And until we're back to chirp about another topic.